وصحبه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, thank you very much to MIIT or MIIT for inviting me and organizing today's lively Ramadan event. MashaAllah. May Allah bless you and reward the CEO and everyone who contributed on this work. Amin. Also yang terhormat Pak Rulis dan Bu Konjen. MashaAllah, it's an honor. I hope everyone else is doing good. Yeah. Safe and sound, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. So, I'm a part-time student from an Islamic and Leadership Studies program called Young Dai from MIIT Institute that, alhamdulillah, collaborated with many MSAs around the GTA, including my campus. I highly encourage everyone, particularly the youth, to join programs from MIIT Institute because they have such a genuine mission, teaching real, holistic Islamic knowledge. I would love to talk more about MIIT, but I have limited time, so inshallah, let's begin today's discussion. Before I start, I'm not a speaker, I'm not an expert, but when I get a chance to convey a message that I believe needs to be heard, I take it. However, allow me to also read my script at times, inshallah. Yeah. What I'll be sharing today is a portion from what I've learned in Young Da'i from the Aqidah model. And the goal here is to strengthen our iman, strengthen our conviction, our iman of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, that there is only one God worthy of worship, and that is Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his final messenger. This may be a review for some, it might not be, but we gotta be real here, right? Many Muslims in today's generation, they don't, I'm talking in general around the world, they don't really inherit or fully understand what the concept of Tawheed is really all about, what Islam is really all about, what being a Muslim is really all about. And in mild cases, this is because they aren't exposed to the proper steps on understanding the deen. They aren't exposed to the proper step on understanding Islam. Not knowingly, they sort of skip the very beginning questions, the very beginning pondering, and jump right into learning the technicalities of rituals, like how to pray salah, the fact that we're fasting, the traditional practices. But whenever they proceed these traditional practices, it's either they do it because their parents told them to, or they do it because social pressure, everyone's doing it, might as well do it. It's not yet really because they do it because they need it. There are missing pieces of the puzzle in our understanding about Islam. But however Allah wills, once the missing pieces is placed, completing the puzzle, everything will just click. And inshallah, whoever this individual is, maybe among us here, will then fully submit on striving on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willingly. So, on an attempt to do just that, we are strengthening our conviction today by going back to the beginning questions. One of which is, why do we need Allah? Or do we really need Islam? Does anyone want to try answering this? If you think you know the absolute main answer, just keep it to yourself and let others ponder, inshallah. Does anyone want to try to answer, why do we really need Islam? No? Okay. Okay. Oh, ada mic ya?
Itu Aji.
Ariski. Okay. If you know the main absolute answer, don't say it though. But this is good. Let's try inshallah.
Okay. I think the main reason why we need Islam is that it establishes a way of life. Like you have these alternate goals of life that makes you punya arah tujuan. You have a certain direction that you don't get lost. And all of this construct made by Islam dan semua, what do you call it, the rules of God yang Allah turunkan itu sangat-sangat useful untuk masyarakat dan untuk mengembangkan peradaban. So that's on my point of view.
Mash, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
This is so loud. Okay.
It's good. It's good.
It's good? Oh, that was previously was not.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think this one is good.
Okay.
It's better.
Inshallah, that's absolutely correct. I was expecting that the first answer would be like, oh, we need Allah to go to heaven. Like, I was expecting that, you know, we need Allah for the hereafter. Right? People tend to say that, right? We need Allah for the hereafter. But do you think that's convincing enough though? Let's say there's a Muslim. A Muslim recognizes that heaven exists, paradise exists, hell exists. Right? If you were to convince this person knows this, right? But he is not taking Islam seriously. He's not taking his religion seriously. Do you think bringing the afterlife in the conversation would convince this person and make him like, whoa, wait, I actually need to be serious in my Islam now? Do you think that's convincing enough? It should be, right? It should be because afterlife is the end goal. We want to go to Jannah, but in reality, it's actually not convincing for these people. What we need to be able to convince to ourselves is that yes, we need Allah for the afterlife. Yes, we need Allah. We need mercy of Allah so that we can enter Jannah. But more so, like Brother Farzki said, we actually need Allah in this life right now. That's what we need to be able to convince. So let's use the analogy of the resident versus the builder. Okay, we'll just skip through this because we don't have time. The resident versus the builder. Who have heard about this analogy before? Can I have a raise of hand? No? You? Oh, mashallah. Oh wait, do you go to the same program? Oh, okay. Yeah. So the resident versus the builder. We're gonna use our time here, and inshallah, let's play a vlog so that people have a chance to ponder, because ponder is actually a fundamental element in our iman. Imagine a house. Oh, there's nothing there, but right? Imagine a house. We know that every house has its own sort of issues, right? Every house has doors, every house has rooms, has furnitures. Maybe there's something wrong with the sink, right? Something wrong with the electrical wires, perhaps plumbing issues, right? Or heating issues, heating and cooling issues. Every house has its own sort of problems, yeah? Who knows better about the house? The resident, someone who lives in the house, or someone who is a stranger, visiting for the first time? Who knows better about the house?
The resident.
Yeah, obviously the resident, right? The resident is someone who lives there. The resident is someone who knows more regarding the ins and the outs of the house. Yeah, we can all agree on that. Now, who knows more about the house? The resident who lives there, or the builder of the house? Okay, why the builder? Okay, so be more specific. Why? Okay, so what? So what if he built the house? He knows what he built, right? Therefore, he knows more of the ins and outs of the house than the resident living there. We can all agree on that. Inshallah. So the builder who built the house will be able to tell you, watch out for the hole next to the staircase on the second floor and advise you to step over it carefully, right? The builder of the house will be able to advise you, by the way, make sure you don't set the temperature of your house above 12 Celsius in winter, otherwise pipes would freeze and burst, resulting in water damage. The builder who installed everything in the house will be able to tell you, by the way, remember to replace your refrigerator water filter every 6 months. Otherwise, it will clog, the water quality will decrease, it won't run smoothly, it might even malfunction, right? The builder might also say, don't turn on the AC when the door is open. Otherwise, the AC would, it will exhaust itself due to using too much power in attempting to cool the room. Think of examples how the builder would know how the builder would know better of something than the resident living in the house. Does anyone give more examples? How would the builder know better at something than the resident living in the house? Okay, he would know better regarding the ventilation system, right? The electricity system, the foundation materials that were used, the hidden utilities access, right? The types of weathers it can withstand, right? Many examples. So what is happening here? Let's say now you're moving into the house, yeah? In order for you to live successfully in the house with the least amount of problems, with the least amount of confusions, yeah, to live in a house in a way that, in a good way, without running into things that cause more issues than it should. For example, you didn't even know that a pipe was going to burst if you didn't do something about it. You didn't even know that you have to keep changing the refrigerator water filter, or not, that the water quality is not stable. You didn't even know that the AC is going to go wild if the door is open for too long, right? In order for you to live a successful life in the house, all these things are only wise for you to know before coming into the house. We can all agree on that, right? In order for you to live successfully in a house, you need to know all these relevant things, all these relevant information before coming into the house. We can all agree on it. That's the only rational approach. So, what should the builder of the house give to those who are about to move into the house? I need someone to spit out something. A guidance, good. What else? Let's brainstorm here. Tell me something similar. Advice, good. What else? Instruction manual. Oh, okay. What else?
Blueprint, the blueprint.
Blueprint. Okay. What else? Let's keep it going a bit more.
Warranty.
Warranty. Okay. Warnings, right? A map of the house, right? A blueprint that shows you on how to go about the house. A guide that tells you how to navigate with the least amount of trouble. How to keep the house going and making sure it is maintained properly. Right? I'm sure you guys are understanding the analogy here. Now, take the house, scale it to the size of the universe. Everything that we see around us, right? The house is now the universe, everything that we see around us. Pay attention to this. Did we build this universe? Did we build this world? Or did we just one day come here just to live here? We came here to live here, right? One day we were born into this world that we call Earth. Naturally, same reason, in order for us to live on Earth, making sure we can sustain ourselves, making sure we have the least amount of harm, making sure we have a guide to live peacefully, to live happily, contently, right? To live in the most efficiently possible. Remember, we just the resident. We didn't build this universe. So what must happen now? Just like how the builder had to give the resident a manual or a blueprint, what do you think the creator of the universe, in an analogous way, should do for us? What do you think the creator of the universe should do for us? Same thing, right? He should provide instructions, give relevant information about the divine reality, right? In order for us to succeed, not just for the hereafter, but more so to succeed in this world efficiently, the best way, the most optimal way possible. I'm looking at the back, there's nothing there. What exactly, in a nutshell, should the Creator give us? We mentioned guidance, we mentioned blueprint, right? We mentioned
User guide.
where is he?
Manual.
User guide.
User guide manual. We mentioned those, but what exactly should the Creator give us? Wait, no, okay. What's inside the blueprint? What do you even call when the builder says, don't do X, don't do Y, don't do Z, don't do this?
Rules.
Rules! What does Islam give you? Rules! The Sharia, the legal system, the framework. MashaAllah, brother, thank you. The framework, right? The perfect blueprint to live on earth. From where did this perfect blueprint come from? Did it come from a contingent, limited being that is flawed in every sense, makes so many mistakes like us humans? Did it come from us? No, it comes from the unlimited being, infinite in every sense, the divine supreme intelligence who designed this universe, who perfectly understands the ins and outs. Yeah? You, the resident living there in the house, for example, you might find it enjoyable. Let's say you might find it enjoyable to keep the AC on all the time, or leave the refrigerator open all the time, because you feel this quick benefit, you feel this quick gratification of cooling the room. You might even think that those activities mentioned before is good for you. You might think that it's good for you. But the builder of the house will tell you, hold on, I built the house. And you might like to do something in the house. You might enjoy to do something in the house. You might enjoy the activities mentioned before. But I can tell you that it is bad for you. Because in the long term, what happens? In the long term, it will damage the AC. Right? It will damage the fridge. It will damage the house. It will even damage your health condition, and it is bad for you. Also, the other way around. Like you might not like to do something that you think is bad, but the builder told you to do so, but it is actually good for you. Right? You might feel good in the moment when you disobey a certain ruling, for us when we sin, but you have no clue of the negative outcome that will happen in the long term. Another short analogy, mother and her kids. The mother, who has obviously decades of experience living on earth, will tell her kids, hey, don't eat candies too much, it's bad for you. Okay? And then when the mother told her kids this, obviously the kids might feel, the kids might even hate the mother for this rule, right? The kids might even feel a resentment for not letting them do what they like. Just as we humans might not be able to comprehend why Allah set a certain rule for us, and we might even be in denial, right? If her kids rebel and keep on eating those candies, what happens in the long term? Diabetes, right? Or something negative, right? If we disobey Allah's command, consequences will sooner or later catch up. It is a guaranteed negative outcome. However, if her kids pull through, listen, and abstain from consuming sugar, what happens in the long term? They'll be a lot healthier, right? It is a guaranteed positive outcome if we were to obey Allah's command. We as humans, we don't know what is actually good for us and what is actually bad for us. We don't know. For example, Allah prohibits alcohol, right? We humans might think, oh, what's the harm, right? And drink it anyway. You have this pleasure in the moment, getting that instant kick of happiness, instant kick of reward happiness. But what happens after drinking so much, despite the tolerance that you have? What happens? You actually become miserable straight after. And it has a long-term consequences. Another would be, let's say, for the youth, haram relationship, right? Boyfriend and girlfriend, same thing. We aren't patient enough, so we want this instant, intimate relationship, having no contract, right? But what happens after? What happens usually after? You guys break up, which leads to heartbreaks, right? Which leads to trauma, which leads to not being able to trust people. All of this has consequences in the long term as well. Allah prohibits these things for a reason and for your own protection. Right? Paying zakah, for example. Maybe you don't like paying zakah for whatever reason, even though it's just 2.5%. But it is actually good for you and it has societal benefits in this world. Right? Same goes for 5 daily prayers. You might not like it, but it is good for you. So, why do we need Allah? If you can see on the slide, there are actually many points, right? We need Allah because it gives us comfort, gives help, gives a purpose, right? Fulfills our curiosity, gives objectives, morality, guidance on how to live best. Yeah? All these are so true, but to sum it all up, the key reason why we need Allah is this. If we go back to the two analogies, yeah, the resident versus the builder, the kids versus the mother, what common grounds do they share? So I want to try guessing. What common grounds do the resident versus the builder, the kids versus the mother share? Okay, so the common grounds is not knowing. The resident don't know what the builder knows. The kids don't know what the mother knows. And for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Al-Baqarah verse 216, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعسى أن تكرهوا وعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. Perhaps you dislike something which is good for you and like something which is bad for you. Allah knows and you do not know. This is the key reason. Brothers and sisters, beloved families and friends, this is the key reason why we need Allah. This is why Allah is worthy in every sense to be worshipped. Only Allah should be sought for the blueprint of life. This is why, what it truly means to be a Muslim, we fully surrender our free will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and bound our complete life by Allah's guidance. Because we absolutely know nothing. And Allah knows everything. Allah has all knowledge and we do not. And He is the only unbiased being, unjust and we are not. So it follows unnecessarily that we must submit to His will to live good lives. That's very rational, right? We believe Allah exists. Allah is so merciful. Allah allowed us to know who is the all-knowing. We don't have to do trial and error. Wallahi, the West right now, the United States, one of the superpowers is weak and broken. Why? Why? Because in one period of time, there was a separation between the church and the state. I don't know if you guys know. There's a separation between the church and the state. And then it comes a secular movement. So they completely remove the concept of God's law, and that's the turning point when the West just crumbles down. Right? How many times do I have? It's already 7. Do I keep going? Inshallah. Everyone's enjoying this? Yeah? Okay, so I want to keep on emphasizing on this. So we're going to quickly cover a few more examples, starting from an individual level to a nation level. What happens if you disobey Allah's command? So, Allah prohibits riba, right? Interest. People, they might like to take advantage of interest. If you were to just use the worldly lens, the self-benefit lens, who doesn't want to take advantage of interest, right? It's free money. If I give you $1,000, I will demand $1,100 after 2 months. If you're late, $1,200. Late again, $1,300. I get benefit, $300 for free. Right? It seems like it is benefiting me, but what happens to the individual that borrows the money and can't pay on time? They have to pay more. They borrow money,
because they don't have money in the first place, and they have to pay more. Right? Richer people get richer. Poor people get poorer. How many students out there use student loans and aren't able to repay even years after graduating because the interest keeps on compounding? You know how they live their life each day? During the day, they feel ashamed. During the night, they can't sleep because of thinking this debt every time. Well, like, someone may argue like, well, it's therefore they borrow money. You have that intellect to stop it, right? This is evil and so depressing. Now, that was an effect from an individual level. Let's see from a nation scale. What happens when riba, or interest, keeps on running in the economy? I'm pretty sure you guys know. Can no one spit it up? What happens when the riba keeps on running in the economy? A recession in the marketplace happens. The GFC, the global financial crisis, happened. Yeah, just simply ignoring Allah's rule and playing it for decades is so evident. You see the detrimental effects. In Islam, riba is the essence of economic injustice. Allah sent down a ruling that is telling us to only exchange money to money with equal amounts, period. Right? And this, see, there's an individual level of it, you see it, and then there's a scale of a nation that is actually affected. Another example, I want to shed light on this. It's staying away from zina. The zina of the eyes, zina of the tongue, zina of the hand, all types of zina. Right? Including the rule of lowering your gaze. Lowering your gaze for both men and women. In this generation right now, our brothers and sisters, I don't know if the parents notice this, but our brothers and sisters are suffering a lot from what? From heartbreaks coming from romantic haram relationship. This is a big issue, and I'll tell you what. I'll give a measure. Last year, after Ramadan, I went to a halaqah in Abu Hurairah. The speaker was Abu Taymiyyah, and he was doing a tour. In tour, you do so many halaqahs. In every tour, he just had to bring up the topic of haram relationship. Why? Because, I'm paraphrasing here, this is what he said. Every day, his team would get DMs on Instagram from brothers and sisters asking for help because their heart is broken. Every day, around 10 to 20 brothers and sisters DMing him because they need help, that their heart is broken because of haram relationship. Can you imagine that? Every day. Every day, they would write paragraphs, conveying how they feel, saying their heart is so empty, so shattered. Right? They just don't know what to do. Praying is not helping, music is not helping, or let them command. But just so much stuff they write, right? And their age is not just the teenagers. It's not just 19. It's not just 18 or 16. Even like 12 years old are going through heartbreaks, even though Allah sent us rulings so that we can take advantage of, so we can avoid this issue, so we can protect our children. And on top of it all, there are Muslims in the Muslim families. Theoretically, these issues are avoidable for us. Why is it that we come to the same trap? Right? So again, that's from an individual level. Wait, one more individual level, inshallah. Same thing with broken home, like divorce that's coming from unsatisfied marriage. If we were to analyze again what caused this, it's the rule of not lowering our gaze. It's the rule for not staying away from zina. Maybe we can't comprehend the reason why Allah set these rules at the time, but we now see, we have so many examples, right? What happens if we don't lower our gaze? You might think that the person that you already have isn't enough, right? Or yourself isn't enough because you're comparing to other people. Matter of fact, Shaitan is so clever. They turn gazing into a hobby for people. A whole community based on just gazing. And a lot of Muslims, brothers and sisters are in that community. Right? It's like examining how a celebrity looks with its detail with such a gaze. Brothers and sisters, this is not lowering your gaze, even though it's just on your screen on your phone. Turn back to Allah. You don't know what will happen to you in the long term. You might potentially cause issues in your future marriage from this habit of not lowering your gaze. Yeah, that's seeing it from an individual level. What about the nation scale? What happens if this keeps on running? Yeah? Not following these rules potentially, at its worst, creates broken people. Broken people creates broken families. Broken families create what? Broken societies. Broken societies create broken nation. That's what's happening in the West. It's broken. Yeah? It started with one individual. Sir. Okay, we got 5 minutes. So it started from one individual and then it corrupts. Right? It affects the whole land. Without objective morality, without divine guidance, the world is a mess. This is why we need Allah. So just to wrap things up, inshallah, I want to connect this with the Ramadan today. So Ramadan is a month of reset. Okay, I don't have my notes. Okay, so Ramadan is a month of resets. It's the month where all the gates of Jannah is open and all the gates of hellfire is closed. This is a month where the devils are caged. An opportunity for us to not be a distraction, to not get distracted. This is a month where we build good habits, where we break good habits. Let's use this remaining days of Ramadan to level up as a Muslim. Because I already told you, if you become an individualistic person, if you become an individual where you do whatever you want, even though it goes against Islam, I'm telling you, you are a spark of corruption. Do you own your body? Who created your body? Do you own this world? No. If you think you can do whatever you want in this world, if you don't own this world, you are gravely mistaken. And I've given so many examples. Negative outcome will happen. So humble yourself down. Know your Creator. Use this remaining days of Ramadan to level up as a Muslim. Because if you be a better Muslim now, because you are saving the world just by doing that. The more Muslims we have in this world, proper Muslims, imagine the world, what will happen? Islam is here. Islam, not a lot of people know this, Islam is a holistic system of life that takes care of every single part of the world. It's just not an individualistic spiritual cleansing. Yeah? We had an Islamic golden age, the Islamic Empire, where Jews and Christians love to live in a Muslim country. You know why? The Sharia law is so complete that they even take care of non-Muslims. The Jews can have their own circle in the country. The Christians in the country, using their own laws, the Christians can use their own laws under the protection of Islam Empire. Islam is here for justice in this world. Islam is here to make our world a better place. You really think that you are here, life is designed as a trials, right? And you think the rules is to burden you more? We were the best of nations in the past. I don't know if you guys know about the Islamic Golden Age, right? What happens really? Now, over the past 100 years, there's a degradation of Islamic knowledge. But inshallah, we use these remaining days to better ourselves as a Muslim, because just by doing that, you are saving the world. Barakallahu feekum. Oh, we got a question? Okay, maybe the time's almost. Maybe I can talk to you later, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.